You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Okay. Sit down. We have been waiting for you.
Sorry, something came up.
It's alright. It's alright.
Okay.
So, he's seeking for daughter's hand in marriage. Is it Ibabuchi's son or Ozo's son? Ibabuchi, of course. Ibabuchi. So you don't know anything about Ibabuchi's family? Eh? Are you with your senses? Eh? So you want to give out our daughter's hand in marriage to Ibabuchi's son? Are you not Ibabuchi, the son of Issachar?
Yes, I am.
Then why did you bring this your unclean family into our own family? Eh? Did your father not tell you that you cannot associate with us? I don't like this.
I don't like what you are doing. Why are you embarrassing my visitors?
He's also my visitor. Eh? Why did you not tell us that it was this man and his unclean family that we are expecting? I don't like this. I don't like what you are doing. Yes, Otika. This man here, Ibabuchi, or his son cannot marry our daughter because he is an Osu.
Osu? Then what made him an outcast?
Well, he once trespassed the threshold of the gods. Yes.
And what's the meaning of that?
Emenike, if I start telling you the story now, the little energy I have will not carry it. So please go home.
Uncle, please,
go home.
Please, you have to tell me everything I need to know about this. Because you are the head of this family. But, Uncle, you see, if you don't tell me, I am going to set this whole building on fire.
Emenike, let me tell you, it was not your father Ibabuchi. It was not him. Are you getting me? But his own father caused the whole thing.
Yes, my father, Issachar, was an unfortunate man. His being an outcast was a luck simply because his father, Mamzers, was a harsh man.
Today's episode, I'll be discussing the Osu caste system in the Igbo land. If you're not familiar with what Osu means, these are people that have been referred to as outcasts. It's because there are two ways that people still acquire the Osu tag, and one that's through inheritance and the other is through marriage. Inheritance, when you're born in an Osu family, you automatically become an Osu. So no matter what you do, you can't take off that status you're an Osu person. Secondly, if a non-Osu, that's a Wadiala or a freeborn, should get married to an Osu person, the person automatically becomes an Osu. Because getting married to an Osu person, if you're freeborn and you get married to an Osu person, it's seen as a taboo, as an abomination, and people would not want to associate with you.
It's not. But I know they are in trouble now because they are aware that we had a Amankano youth's meeting. Sure, there is a problem.
Because I'm confused. Mbadike, come to see. Please, take it easy as a message.
Ngige! Mbadike, let us start talking now. If I separate your head from your neck, what brought you to the house of that outcast?
I came to see you. You of all people should know I am as harmless as a dove. I am innocent. I am harmless. Please.
The last time I checked, I and my family have been excommunicated just because I'm in love with the princess. My own people, Uben people, excommunicated me and pronounced me an outcast. I don't have time to wait. Please, start talking now if I behead you.
I was not among them. There is trouble in the palace. Yes, the princess is in trouble in the palace. She needs your attention. You have to hurry. That's why I came.
And what can that be?
Brother, you have to go and find out yourself. Yes, you have to go and find out yourself.
Kene, wait here, I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Hope you're not lying. Huh? I'm not. I'm not.
What's the meaning of this?
Mbadike, your time is up. Time.
Drop your sword! Step out of my way! I am Mbadike, whose back never touches the ground.
They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense, and sacrificed unto their gods.
Ecclesiasticus, the 17th chapter, verse 17. It says, for in the division of the nations. So we have now here, the Father is actually dividing the nations. For the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a rule or a ruler over every people. But Yasharal is Yahuwah's portion. The 4th chapter, verses 1 through 4. It says, this is the book of the commandments of Yahuwah, and the Torah or the law that endureth forever. All right, that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. It's just as simple as that. Verse 2. Turn or return thee, O Jacob, and take heed of it, which is the Torah. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thy honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
That the Outcast system be abolished immediately.
What?
Your Highness, what did you just say?
Impossible.
Impossible! It can never happen in this kingdom.
Nothing is impossible before the gods.
Just as this decree just happened.
But, my king, I find this very difficult to understand. Well, my king, I as well advise that we verify very well this supposed decree from the gods. I mean, both the freeborn and the outcast have always existed like two different sides of a coin,
Which can never meet.
Calm down.
Not ever.
Calm down, my elders. Be calm.
Tradition, I must add, has been in existence in this land from time immemorial. And the gods of Outcasts, as I know them, are not prone to changing their minds, especially when it comes to a tradition.
And this is what the freeborns who have become Christians say about them. It's a person dedicated to a god. So we're talking about the Osu person, yeah? This person referring to. He's a person dedicated to a god, a thing set apart, a taboo forever, and his children after him forever. He could neither marry nor be married by the freeborn. He was in fact an outcast, living in a special area of the village, close to the great shrine. Wherever he went, he carried with him the mark of his forbidden caste, long, tangled, and dirty hair. A razor was taboo to him, and Osu could not attend an assembly of the freeborn. Could not attend an assembly of the freeborn. And Osu could not attend an assembly of the freeborn. And Osu could not attend an assembly of the freeborn. A razor was taboo to him, and Osu could not attend an assembly of the freeborn, and they in turn could not shelter under his roof. He could not take any of the 4 titles of the clan, and when he died, he was buried by his kind in the evil forest. That was him. Osu is like leprosy in the minds of our people. I beg you, my son, not to bring the mark of shame and leprosy into the family. If you do, your children and your children's children into the 3rd and 4th generation will cause your children and your children's children into the 3rd and 4th generation will cause your children and your children's children into the 3rd and 4th generation will cause your children and your children's children into the 3rd and 4th generation will cause your memory. It is not for myself I speak. My days are few. You will bring sorrow on your head and on the heads of your children. Who will marry your daughters? Whose daughters will your sons marry? Think about that, my son. We are Christians, but we cannot marry our own daughters. Do you see that? Just from this little thing, you can see the kind of fear that people are already conditioned to. In the sense that some people can be like, see, all this stress is too much. It's true. What about my children? That even if I were doing it for love, my children might not be able to mingle with other people, and it could cause them to have low self-esteem. It could cause them to be suicidal. You know, these are things that people begin to think about. That is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? And that's why a lot of people caught it. Can you marry an Osu person and people freak out? It's not the right thing to do. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but I believe it's under this discomfort that this issue prevails, and until we bring it up, can we actually begin to, find solutions or actually rectify this phenomenon? If you can marry an Osu person, tell me what you think. If you can't, tell me why.
The nation of Yasharal is a very special people. A very special people. Out of all of the people that's on the planet Earth, the Father chose the nation of Yasharal. And what we want to do is back up everything with Scripture. We're going to go to first, Devarim, the 14th chapter, verse 2. I'm going to read. It says, "For thou, being the nation of Yasharal, for thou art set apart, or a project people into Yahuwah thy Elohim. And Yahuwah thy Elohim hath chosen you to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth." So verse 2 speaks volumes. It speaks a lot of volume. We have here now that the set apart one, Yahuwah, he's claiming Yasharal as his peculiar people above all people that's on the planet Earth. I just want to make sure that I bring this in real crystal clear. This is about a marriage from Genesis to Revelation. And we have a responsibility as a bride, the Messiah being the groom, that we must make sure that we uphold our end of the wedding agreement that we made at Mount Sinai. And this is the reason why, again, Shavuot last week was very important. And we're going to try to bring this out in its entirety. In a marriage, the way that the marriage works is that the father, he's the head of the house. The father organizes the wedding for the son. Now, we know that the father sent messengers before the son. We have prophets like Yirmiyahu, we have like Hezekiah, we have Isaiah. All of these men were forerunners before the Messiah. And these men now, their responsibility now was to return us back into covenant in preparation now for the wedding. Every festival, every single festival, we're talking about Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Shavuot, we're talking about the blowing of the trumpets, Yom Teruah, we're talking about the Day of Atonement, the waking of the sheep. All of this now is all prophetic shadow pictures now alluding now to a wedding. Once we get that under lock and key, everything else should be kind of simple and easy. And so everybody at all times needs to be on their best behavior. So when Passover ends, you're still in a season or a festival in preparation for a wedding. Because the way that it works here, we're going to go to a little bit later, is that when you have Pesach, all right? Pesach is pertaining to a particular harvest. After Pesach now, you're still in the Passover season until Shavuot. Shavuot now is a wheat harvest. Now after the wheat harvest is done and over with, you're still in a wedding preparation type ceremony because now you're waiting now for the 7th month. Everything is running continuous. And what we need to do now is also be in a continuous righteous behavior following Torah, because we never know when the groom might come for the bride. So that's the way that the stage is set. But something happened. All right, so we're going to need a thinking caps on today. All right, we have now again the father, he sends his son. Watch what happens. Luke, the 22nd chapter, I'm going to start at verse 41. See if you're able to pick this up here. Now remember, the father sets the stage. The father now gets a bride for the son. Now, and he was withdrawn from them, which is his 12 disciples, about a stone cast, and he knelt down and prayed. This is the Messiah. Saying, this is what the Messiah said. He said, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. And there appeared a messenger unto him from Shamayim, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. and his sweat was as it was great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Now, verses 41 to 44, something amazing just happened here. Something amazing. First of all, we had a situation where prior to this, the Messiah is with the 12 disciples. He's up in the upper room. The upper room is usually associated with a marriage. Marriages are usually held up in upper rooms. Now, the Messiah says something very important. He said that I would not be able to drink of this wine with you now, but I would drink it new with you in the kingdom. Cup ceremonies are very important. Cup ceremonies represents weddings. The way that a wedding works, I apologize, I don't have all my notes here, but again, a lot of this should sound familiar, and we'll tap it up and clean up a little bit later on as we go. I just want to bring out the premise here. The father is there. The young lady's father is there. Okay, so they go through a wine ceremony of drinking wine from a cup. The Messiah said, listen, I'm not going to be able to do this with you, okay? Because there's something else that I need to do. He needs to die for the nation of Yasharal. So we see this cup here. The Messiah is asking the Father if he can take this cup away from him. This is the state now of the nation of Yasharal. When the Messiah is asking the Father to take this cup away from him, looking at now at the history of Israel, it gets to the point now where now the groom, okay, who's supposed to be marrying the nation of Yasharal, is it even worth it now?
Now, you have to go and look for the husband. Wherever you see him, you go down and you do small.
Because everything na you, anything I do na you, anytime I want enjoy na you, anytime I want to laugh na you, when I want Sokoto na you, when I go Sokoto na you, what the color na you.
In Nigerian village weddings, there is a ritual in which the bride and groom must drink from the same cup of palm wine. The bride is given the cup and then must go from guest to guest until she finds her husband to offer him a drink as well. Then, the bride's father fills a wooden cup, iko, with palm wine and passes it on to the girl while the groom finds a place between the guests. It is the custom for her to look for her husband while being distracted by the invitees.
they don't all look like Negroes, man. Like I just explained, hey, even some of you Negroes, man, you guys are Edomites, man. And I suspect that a lot of you BOIs are in fact Edomites, man. You guys are in fact heathens, man. Tares. Looking like so-called Negroes, but you guys are in fact Edomites, man. Your father goes back to an Edomite, man. Shit, your ancient grandmama got raped by an Edomite, man. Okay?
Back then, these people traveled to a land where never mankind dwelt. Okay, let's go ahead and read verse 43. Right.
That they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
So understand that the Euphrates River is northwest of the continent of Africa. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so they enter into the Euphrates River by the narrow passages of the river, right? Read verse 44.
For the Most High then showed signs.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Bekem